7 habits I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant. Do you have what it takes to become a successful business owner? Oftentimes we tend to focus externally on the systems and team and leads that we need to become successful. But becoming a 7-figure coach or consultant also means that you as the business owner need to adopt some powerful habits to take you to your goals. And that's the focus of today's video. Hi, I'm Jessica Yarbrough, top business strategist for coaches and consultants who want to scale ultra high-end businesses. And through my own journey of becoming a successful business owner and coaching many clients to level up, I've identified 7 habits that every person must adopt if they want to grow and sustain a successful coaching or consulting business. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you know when each of my new videos drops. Let's dive in. Number 1, get strong in your no. The first habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was to get strong in my no. And when you're first starting out in your business, you have to say yes. Yes, I'll be on that podcast. Yes, I'll hop on a coffee chat with you. Yes, I'll be there and present to your group. You're saying yes a lot because you need to capture any and every opportunity to be in front of people that may listen to you and ultimately buy from you. You're new and you're trying to get people to pay attention. But as your business grows, you can't keep saying yes and go to 7 figures. When I first started my business, I would get on the phone with anyone. I would go to meet people in person in San Diego because I was trying to get my business off the ground and running. But as I got busier, I set really strong boundaries around my time. So if someone says, hey, can we grab a coffee so I can pick your brain? Absolutely, the answer is no. If I meet someone online and they want to connect over a virtual coffee chat, I will not meet with them. I reserve my in-person time for paying clients, and anyone that is interested in working together must go through a rigorous application process. It's a lot to run a business. And to scale it, you have to be very strategic about your time and figure out what the best things to say yes to and learn to be comfortable in saying no. And number 2, stop the shiny object syndrome. The next habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was to stop shiny object syndrome. I often pull my clients back from executing on things that will prevent them from hitting their goals. And it's so easy to slip into shiny object syndrome because we're constantly bombarded with, this is the next thing you must have. And if you think back, you can probably name lots of different things like summits and challenges and TikTok and Clubhouse and Threads and ChatGPT. As a business owner, you're going to constantly have new things thrown at you. And sometimes you may think, hey, this is going to be the number one thing that I need. But oftentimes, shiny object syndrome costs a business owner time. And sometimes it's not even the right strategy for you at that time. I had a client once who had just hired me to help him grow his business. And without telling me, he decided to sign the papers to do a live event locally in about 3 months' time. He even executed contracts to fly people first class to speak and to pay them $10,000 each. And again, he did all of this without discussing it with me. He ended up spending about $60,000 to put on this event. When he told me, my immediate reaction was, this is going to be really difficult for you to fill. We hadn't even laid the groundwork to scale him yet. He didn't have much of an audience, and the event was scheduled in just a few months. So instead of him being able to fully focus on my strategy, which he had just invested in, and generate money in the first quarter of working together, instead he was scrambling to try to sell seats to this event. Well, the event flopped. He barely had any attendees, and it ended up costing him $60,000 plus months of precious time where he could have spent growing his business. This is why it's so important to not get distracted by the next shiny object. And I'm not saying that some of the softwares or tools or strategies that you're advertised are not effective, but everything that you implement has a time cost associated with it. And it may not be the right time for you to execute on it. Number 3, let things go. Another habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was to let things go. Look, entrepreneurship can be rough. Like, no one gets out without getting beat up a bit. Things are going to happen that are outside of your control. It's going to upset you, it's going to frustrate you, and it may even set you back financially. You may have clients that disappear and owe you money. You may have people steal from you or copy your work. You may find yourself in a legal battle, have a team member drop the ball on something really major, have a vendor fall through last minute, or a surprise big tax bill because your accountant filed something wrong. My point is, things are going to happen and you can let them affect you. You can take on all that frustration and anger, and it will impact how you show up in your business and in your personal life. Or you can adopt the habit of letting go. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. In the moment, it's going to feel really intense. But if you can find whatever the lesson is so that mistake doesn't happen again and let go and move on, you're going to be a better leader, and you are going to be a happier person, and you're going to be able to grow your business faster. Number 4, document your processes. Another habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was to start documenting all of my processes. Team members do leave. I've been lucky that I've had a few of my team members stay with me for years. But people will always leave, and sometimes that will be initiated by you, and sometimes they will leave for another opportunity or a life-changing situation. And this can be really overwhelming for a business owner, especially if you're the one who has to step in and suddenly manage your marketing or your operations or your client support. Not to mention the time and cost associated with finding a new hire and training them. And this is something every business owner has to deal with. So the sooner that you can start to document your processes, the better. In my company, we have SOPs around everything. If we need to hire someone, we can actually do it fairly quickly. And we have thorough onboarding and training set up so that we can easily plug a new team member into their role. And they have a blueprint of how to do their job. If you don't have this, it's going to be hard to find someone. You're going to be scrambling, and then the person's going to step into the role and not know where to find things, how to access software, and what they should be doing on a day-to-day basis. So if you want to become a successful business owner, you absolutely need to adopt the habit of documenting all of your processes now. Number 5, communicate clearly. Another habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was learning to communicate clearly, especially around expectations. The number 1 cause of problems is often a breakdown in communication. Perhaps you assign a project to a team member or even multiple team members, but you haven't given them a lot of direction or communicated timelines, for example. Well, one of them drops the ball, not realizing they need to complete a portion, or they miss the deadline, or the quality of the work is less than what you imagined, or a combination of all 3. This is frustrating for both you and the team members, and it has cost you both time and often money. Maybe you have a new client, but you really don't have a thorough onboarding process. So they're unclear what the rules and expectations are. For example, let's say you don't work weekends, and they send you an email Saturday morning and don't hear back. Now they're frustrated and feel ignored. You feel they've crossed a boundary because you don't want to work weekends, but you never communicated that to them. Now you're upset and they're upset, and you've got to solve this issue, which could have been avoided by having clear communications and setting expectation from the beginning. Number 6, own your schedule. Another habit I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant was learning to own my schedule. In order to operate a successful business, you're going to need time for strategy, meetings, coaching, even time to be and to dream. And this is very important to scale. So many of my clients come to me completely overwhelmed in their schedule because they have not taken control of their time. And look, you either control your schedule or it will control you. There are certain things that you can do to help you own your schedule. Time blocking is very effective for getting certain projects done. Having ongoing meetings with your team, for example, and eventually delegating some of those meetings to an operations team member can be beneficial. Scheduling days off is also key. I know for me personally, I do not work on Fridays, and I block off an entire week of every month where I don't do calls with anyone, not clients or prospects or even my team. And this allows me space to work on other aspects of the business and also to dream, rather than constantly being on calls or Zoom. Other ways you can own your schedule is by having dedicated days and even times for certain activities. For example, in my business, I only coach on certain days. And this allows me to be fully focused and in coaching mode versus letting people book whenever and trying to jump my brain from coaching to working on some other task. From a high performance standpoint and optimizing your brain power and your time, I found that having these dedicated coaching blocks is very helpful. It's the same thing with any other aspect of my business. So if you want to become a successful coach or consultant, adopt the habit of owning your schedule. Number 7, practice self-care. Another powerful habit I adopted to becoming a 7-figure consultant was the practice of self-care. I can't tell you how many colleagues I know who are running themselves into the ground running successful businesses. If you don't take care of yourself, you will burn out and it will cost you your health. Working 60 to 80 hours a week is not a badge of honor you want to wear. You need to make sure that you take care of yourself. Exercise, meditate, nourish your body with healthy foods, minimize or eliminate the alcohol altogether, and more. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and if you're not practicing self-care, you're going to be stressed, and you're going to take it out around those around you, including your team and your family. And this is going to create a whole other host of problems. This wraps up my video on 7 habits I adopted to become a 7-figure consultant. I'd love to know, what was your biggest takeaway? Be sure to drop a comment below. Until next time.